Saturday. Do you know what today is? It's the Father's holy day. Do you know what today is? It's the Sabbath Saturday.
Shabbat shalom, now it's Shabbat shalom. With my oxen, my aquas, getting our study on. Shalom, coolin' with your body. We gon' praise the Most High. Then we gon' have a Hebrew party, la-di-da-di. It's a high holy day, so I'm fellowshipping with the body. Do the math, do the calculations, do the equations. From Sabbath to Sabbath, that's how we stay on track with the holy days. In the Hebrew, it's new month, not new moon. So we ain't going off the moon. Read the book of Jubilees and the book of Enoch. We got the Hebrew calendar that was given to Enoch. I'm prophesying in my rhymes. The water are higher for the Sabbath. Now my elders broke down the secret of the time. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. And a holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Most High and all your dwellings. Isaiah 58, verse 13. If thou turn away from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath day delight, the holy of the Most High, honorable, and shall honor him that doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words.
Today is, it's the Father's holy day. Do you know what today is? It's the Sabbath Saturday. Do you know what today is? It's the Father's holy day. Today is, it's the Sabbath Saturday.
Shabbat shalom, now it's Shabbat shalom. Shalom, my oxen, my aquas. Matter of fact, I'm a lot. Tell him what it is, homeboy. Talk to him.
It's the Sabbath day, so that means it's the Father's day. And I should do whatever the Father say. It's been written. It won't change. He said it is the same forever, it won't change. So the Sabbath day, it couldn't change. And the Sabbath day, it won't change. So when I came into the truth, I put down holidays and picked up every single holy day. And I vowed to only do holy things. So the 7th day, blessed years. The only work I do is the Father's biz. The Sabbath day is Saturday and I vow to keep it holy. If you just celebrate traditions Christ didn't show me. I'm walking in the faith and the laws he gave to Moses. Time to get it right, cause judgment is approaching. Exodus 31, verse 12. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also to the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep, but it's a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Most High, that do and sanctify you. Verse 14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it surely be put to death. Whatsoever doeth any work therein, their soul shall be cut off among his people. Shabbat shalom.
Do you know what today is?
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it. Shabbat shalom. This is Jerusalem Ministry, Brother Palau, and I'm coming with, this is the last part of the teacher of righteousness. All right. So this is the last part of the teacher of righteousness, and we're going to be going into a lot of information about the teacher of righteousness today. Well, we're wrapping it up. All right, wrapping it up. So today I'm going into the New Testament and then going into the Dead Sea Scrolls and showing the correlation between Jesus and the teacher of righteousness, showing, you know, that Jesus is the teacher. All right, he is the teacher. And this comes with us. Now we have to understand the Judean Christian writings. We have to go into the Dead Sea Scrolls and understand what scrolls in the Dead Sea Scrolls is New Testament writings. We have to start reading other Judean Christian New Testament writings, like the Recognitions of Clement, like the Homilies of Clement, like the Didache. Start going to things to start really trying to understand the Jewish Christian viewpoint of how they understood Jesus, all right, and how they understood the gospel, how it's supposed to be preached, because that quote unquote Christianity did not win, all right. The Greco-Roman Christianity won, all right. Now, because the dead people get this argument, oh, the Dead Sea Scrolls, it don't have Jesus in there. It don't have none of the name of the of anybody, other disciples, or nobody within the New Testament. Like I said during the Judean New Testament Christian writing course, that they're not like telling on themselves, and they wasn't thinking that, oh, these is going to be read later on to to people in the future. They was thinking like this stuff was happening now, and then later on they start to realize, okay, it may not happen in our time period. So that's why they preserved these records, and when they ran away from the Qumran caves, they threw these in these holes within the caves to preserve these, and they were preserved, the best way that they can. I know a lot of things was lost, but we do have a lot of things also that was found. So that they wasn't thinking that, oh, they had to, tell on themselves and put their names and and things like that. But it's evidence that this is the church. All right. It's evidence that the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. If it's not, then we have a problem, because the way that this teacher of righteousness is being described in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and how they're supposed to believe on him and the laws of God to make it, to get eternal life and all this stuff. Like it's the same thing with we see with Jesus within the Greco-Roman New Testament. All right. So now, to get into this is the third part of the teacher of righteousness. Now we're going to be going into the Zadokite fragment, which is the Damascus document. And I got the Damascus document up in the Dead Sea Scrolls also. All right. Now, the Damascus document within the Dead Sea Scrolls is worded a little, some things is worded differently than within the Zadokite fragment. So I like to go use both of them. The Dead Sea Scrolls Damascus document is older than the Zadokite, fragment one. All right, this one was found, I want to say it was found in the late 1800s or something like that. And when it was found, the record that Zadokite work, it date back to like the 10th century AD or the 11th century AD. All right. So, but when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Damascus document was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this record dates back earlier than the Zadokite fragment work. The same record, but it just date back earlier. All right. So I like to use the earlier as the foundation, and then use the Zadokite fragment, to try to understand some things more. So now, and that's what I recommend people to do. So today I'm going to be showing you how, how to use the Zadokite fragment and the Dead Sea Scrolls while we're going into the teacher of righteousness. All right. So now let's get it. Let's do this. Let's get it started. So Zadokite fragment. Right. The Zadokite fragment. Right now, this is, like I said, it's the Damascus document. But let me actually start within the Greco-Roman Gospels. Let me close that out. All right, let me start within the Greco-Roman Gospels right here. So now I'm gonna go to the book of Matthew. All right, now I'm gonna go to Gospel of Matthew, the Greco-Roman Gospel of Matthew, and I'm gonna read Matthew 26, verse 31. Right, I don't mean Matthew 26, verse 31. 1 second. All right, so Matthew chapter 26, verse 31. Then said Jesus, or Yeshua, or Yeshua, whatever you prefer. Then said Jesus unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you in Galilee. All right. So this is interesting. Now, what you get right here, you get him, saying which is written in Zechariah. We're gonna read it in just a second. So he's quoting this. So this is what he's saying. He's saying, y'all should be offended because of me this night. It is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. So what's taking place right here? What's taking place is that you have he's saying to his disciples and to everybody that this is the night that they're gonna get me, and when they get me, the sheep the flock is gonna scatter abroad. And he's quoting Zechariah. Now, what's interesting is that this same thing is quoted within the Dead Sea Scrolls, within the Damascus document. So we're in the Zedekiah fragment. All right, and I'm gonna go to chapter 9. All right. Zedekiah fragment, chapter 9, and it's the same thing within when the Dead Sea Scrolls Damascus document. It's on page 135. All right, it's on 135. But with the Zedekiah fragment, it has a part A and a part B. It has like two translations. One of the translations is exactly what is said in the Damascus document, which is A, translation A. But translation B says something a little different. All right. So let's check this out. Let's check this out. So, okay, now we're on Zedekiah fragment. Now I'm gonna read this right here. They say, I'm gonna read A, then I'm gonna read B. But as for all of them that reject, when God will bring a visitation upon the land, they shall be requited with the recompense of the wicked. When there shall come to pass the word which is written in the words of Isaiah, the son of Amos, the prophet, who said, he will bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah. All right, so that's the same thing that we get within the Dead Sea Scrolls right here. I'm gonna read it. So, and this is the Damascus document in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And it say, and all those who despise the commandments of the statutes shall be rewarded with the retribution of the wicked, when God shall visit the land, when the saying shall come to pass, which is written among the words of the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos. He will bring upon you and upon your people and upon your father's house days such as has not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah. All right. And then it goes into say, when the two houses of Israel were divided, Ephraim departed from Judah, and all the apostates were given up to the sword, but those who held fast escaped to the land of the north. And as it said, I will exile the tabernacle of your king and the bases of your statues from my tents to Damascus. All right, because this is called a Damascus document. In the community at the Qumran Caves, they believe that was the name of the community. I mean, that was the name of the of what it was at. It was called Damascus. Then they named the land of Damascus, which actually just means New Covenant. All right, but what's interesting is that in the Zedekiah fragment, it has a part B, right? Now I'm going to read this part B, and it lines exactly up what we just read within Matthew. All right, and it say, but as for all of them that reject the commandments and the statutes, they shall be requited with the recompense of the wicked, when God will bring a visitation upon the land, when there shall come to pass the word which is written by the hand of Zechariah the prophet. Oh, sword, awake against my shepherd and against the man that is my fellow. God saith God, smite the shepherd and the sheep shall be scattered, and I return my hand against the little ones. So you have this same quote is within the Damascus document, and you actually have Jesus quoting the same thing, Matthew chapter 26, verse 31. Then said Jesus unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. All right, so now this same, like I said, the same thing is quoted within the Damascus document to let you know that this is Damascus document is written after the teacher of righteousness came already. So now it's letting you know that they got rid of the leadership within the community, and what happened was it started to have some little, separation within the community for a little bit, because they smited the shepherd. They smited the shepherd. All right. So this was quoted with Jesus quoted this, and this is actually quoted within the Damascus document to let you know the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. All right. And the church is actually was at the Convent Cave. That was like their headquarters. The Convent Cave community is the church, y'all. All right. So now let's keep going. Go to some more information. All right. So now, and this is actually quoted within Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7. All right. So now, but let's keep going. Let's keep going real quick. So now, hold on, let me unshare my screen real quick, and I'm gonna share it right back. So now I'm gonna pull up the recognitions of Clement. All right. Put the recognitions of Clement, and I'm gonna pull up the Syriac version. All right. Now I usually use the Syriac version. I use the Latin version also. I use both of them. All right. But I would put the Syriac over the Latin version of the recognitions of homilies of Clement. Let me reshare my screen. 1 second. There we go. So I would actually put the Syriac version of the recognitions of Clement above the Latin Greek version. All right. Now, because it's a little older, and I believe that it's more closer to what was originally there. All right. So now I'm gonna go to the recognitions of Clement real quick, and I'm gonna go to. Now let's see. Now there's some things that you can't find in the Latin version, so you have to by default go to the. I mean, it's some things you cannot find within the Syriac version, so by default you have to go to the Latin version. All right. Now, but this recognitions of Clement, and this is recognitions of Clement, book 1, and this is chapter 62, and I want to read something right here. And this saying, while you are an idiot in your occupation at fisherman. This is like Caiaphas talking about matter of fact, let me just read it from the top. This is Caiaphas talking to Peter. After him, Caiaphas looked at me accordingly and advised me and blaming me of some things and said, be quiet. You should not be preaching about Jesus being the Messiah, because you are bringing destruction upon yourself. For you have erred after him and caused others to err. And he was furthermore blaming me as if being hasty. While you are an idiot in your occupation of fisherman, you happen to be a teacher. And after he said these things and others similar to them, even I spoke such words as these to him. For me, the danger is small. If, as you say, he is not the Messiah, because I have accepted him as a teacher of the law, but for you, the danger is great, not small. If he is to be the Messiah, which verily, in the truth, he is the one. So even in the recognition of Clement, they call him he's the teacher of the law. He's like I said, like we did in part 1. He's in the recognition of homilies of Clement. They call him the true prophet. Also, they call him the true prophet. They call him the teacher of the law. He's the teacher, and some more things I'm gonna show you. So let's just showing, that if the teacher, the righteousness that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls and that's within the Ebionites, Jesus, if that's not the real Jesus, the Ebionite Jesus and the teacher of righteousness in the Dead Sea Scrolls is the same teacher. All right, the same teacher. The Greco-Roman Jesus, which they kind of modified and did certain things to, it is the teacher of righteousness that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's within the Ebionites Jesus is the real Jesus. It's the teacher of righteousness. That's within the scrolls. All right. So now hold on. Let me pull out some more stuff within the recognitions of Clement. All right. So now let me go to book 3. Let's see if this one is in the Syriac version. So I'm gonna go to Recognition of Clement, book 3, and I'm gonna try to go to chapter 30. Let's see if they. All right. There we go. All right. So now Recognition of Clement. And I'm gonna start this book 3, chapter 30. And it reads, and Peter returned him and answered, to those who have not received the law from the seat of Moses, my true word may seem contrary. This is not so, but that is not, but that it is not. Listen, angels then see God, but human beings, how many human beings cannot see God? But in the resurrection of the dead, those who become like angels shall be able to see him. And so it is not contrary. And rather not even our teachers saying, so they're talking about Jesus, our teachers saying, blessed are those who are pure in the heart, for they shall see God. Okay. And pure in heart, in the saying that he said, blessed are those who are poor, who are meek. These are things so that they were saying, but they call him a teacher. He's the teacher. He's the teacher. All right. So according to the Ebionites, he is the true prophet. He's the true teacher. He's the Messiah. All right. Just like we see within the Dead Sea Scrolls, the teacher of righteousness. He's that prophet that likened to Moses, and that's what the Ebionites believe also. And they believe he's that true teacher. He's a true prophet, and then they also believe he's the Davidic Messiah, and he has a priestly connotation with it. He has a priestly side with it also. They believe this. All right. Now this is in the Ebionites record. This is in our in the early church records. All right. Now let me go to a couple more things in here. 1 second. Let me go to, still gonna be in book 3, but I'm gonna go to chapter 75. All right, I'm gonna go to chapter 75. Let's see. Book 3, chapter 75, and then read this. And the 8th concerns the words of the teacher, that he is a prophet, and that he did not speak contradictorily, although it is assumed, and it makes explanation of these things. All right, so they like Peter let them know, like he's the word of he's the teacher, and he is the true prophet. He's that teacher. He's the teacher of righteousness, and he's the true prophet. All right, he's the Messiah. All right, so now let me go ahead and let me jump back to the scrolls and to the Zedekiah fragment. So now we're gonna go to chapter 9, still in chapter 9, the Zedekiah fragments, but I'm gonna go to chapter 9, I'm gonna go to verse 28. And this is in the Dead Sea Scrolls on page 136. All right. Now look what this read. All right, now this read. Now I'm gonna read 28 to 30. And it reads, this is the word which Jeremiah spake to Baruch, the son of Neriah and Elisha, to his servant Gehazi, all the men who entered into the new covenant in the land of Damascus. I'm gonna read B. So all those are the men who entered into the new covenant in the land of Damascus, and yet turned backward and act treacherously, and departed from the spring of living water. They departed from this baptism that they got when they enter into the community. All right. Now, this is what you see right here. Right. This is what you see. Now I'm gonna keep reading. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me. So You see, I'm gonna read this again. So all the men who entered into the new covenant in the land of Damascus and yet turned backward and acted treacherously and departed from the spring of living waters. Let me go to the Damascus document in the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right, so this is page 136. All right, and this read, I'm gonna read right here. Let's see. Page 136. This is what we read within the Zedekiah fragment. Let me just start right. Start right here. And against them are those who follow them, and so shall it be who for all who reject the commandments of God and abandon them to the stubbornness of their heart. This is the word which is spoken, which Jeremiah to Baruch, son of Neriah, and which Elisha spoke to the servant Gehazi. None of the men who enter into the covenant of the land of Damascus and who again betray and depart from the fountain of the living water shall be reckoned with the council of the people, or inscribed in the book from the day of the gathering of the teacher of the community until the coming of the Messiah out of Aaron in Israel. All right, I'm gonna go back to the Damascus, to the Zedekiah fragment, which is the same thing. Now I say, now, so all the men who enter into the new covenant in the land of Damascus and yet turned backward and acted treacherously and departed from the spring of the living waters, they should not be reckoned in the assembly of the people. And in this register, they shall not be written from the day when there was gathered in the unique, in the Zedekiah fragment, said the unique teacher until they shall arise the Messiah from Aaron and from Israel. All right, so now, because they believe now, like they know that the teacher of righteousness is the Messiah from Aaron and Israel. This could be talking about the Messiah that's coming from Aaron and and Israel, meaning that the Davidic Messiah who have a priestly side to him, and then also this can be talking about the two Messiahs, the Messiah of the Davidic Messiah, and is actually a Messiah that's coming from Aaron lineage, okay, which we see within the scrolls. They have these two Messiahs also, but the community, they understood that the unique teacher or the teacher of righteousness, that he will return. You have a Melchizedek scroll showing this being returning. You have they have a war scrolls which showing the Messiah returning along with the angels to fight against the Romans. All right, so they understood that the teacher of righteousness, which is the Davidic Messiah, he's returning also. All right, so now, but I want to read this thing of departing from the spring of living waters. All right, so now let's go to John. Let's go to John. We're in the book of John, and this is chapter 7. And I'm gonna read verse 38. I'm gonna read verse 37. And it reads this. It reads, in the last day, the great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believe on me, as the scripture said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living waters. All right. So now, for those who want to depart from the new covenant in the land of Damascus, as you know, that's where the new covenant started. That's where the teacher of righteousness came. That's where Jesus came to seal the new covenant. And it say, and this is Zedekiah fragment, chapter 9, verse 28. And this is the B side. It said, so all the men who enter into the new covenant in the land of Damascus and yet turned back and acted treacherously and departed from the spring of living waters. So that spring of living waters, which you see dealing with the New Testament, the Greco-Roman New Testament, Yeshua said, you come to me. Yeshua said, you come to me, then your belly shall flow rivers of living water. All right. So those who depart from the springs of this living waters, would not be reckoned among the assembly. And these are people who are registered. They shall not be registered. It was written from the day when was gathered the unique teacher. So when the teacher came to the community and set things up until the coming of the return of the Messiah. for people who not walking in this order and depart from the living waters, then you're not going to be a part of that number. So the thing is, Jesus is the teacher of righteousness. This is it. Correlate this. This is what I'm showing you. This comes with now we have to keep learning. We have to keep studying. Now we got to go into the scrolls, but we have to really understand the scrolls on a scholarly level. We have to really start understanding the Ebionites, the Nazarenes, understanding the early church. All right. So now let's keep going. So now I'm gonna stay in Zedekiah fragment chapter 9. All right, and I'm showing that you can see the same stuff that was in the Damascus document, was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right, so now I'm gonna keep going. Now I'm gonna Zedekiah fragment and read verse 37, chapter 9, verse 37, and it reads, "For they spoke error against the statutes of righteousness and rejected." I'm right here. For they spoke error against the statutes of righteousness and rejected the covenant and plague of faith, which they had affirmed in the land of Damascus. And this is the new covenant. And there shall not be unto them nor unto their families a share in the house of the law. And from the day when there was gathered the unique teacher, and to all the men of war consumed, who walked with the man of lies about 40 years. So, and during this period shall be kindled the wrath against God of Israel, as he said. All right, so now they believe that after the teacher of righteousness left, you have a 40-year time span that something was going to happen. And we know Jesus died around 30, you can say 33 AD, 33 CE, and you got around 70 AD and 73 AD, you had the destruction of the temple. You had the Masada was the last refugee spot for the Jews resistance movement. You know, you had all that coming. That's the 40 years. That's the 40 years showing you the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. Jesus is the teacher. All right. So now, let's see. I'm trying to find out where is something else I wanted to read. Let me just read this in this one. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Page 130 and 138. Let me read this in the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right. Now let's say this. But all those who hold fast to these precepts during going and coming in the ordinance with the law, who heed the voice of the teacher and confess before God, saying, truly, we have sinned, we and our fathers, by walking counter to the precepts of the covenant. That judgments upon us are justice and truth, who do not lift their head against his holy precepts or his righteous statutes or his true testimonies. So this community understand that they have to take heed to the voice of the teacher of righteousness. All right, and they confess before God, saying, truly, we have sinned. All right. If that's not letting you know that person is resorted as in a high, person to be to somebody, you got to heed this person's voice. All right. Just like we see with Jesus. And I'm gonna keep reading. And it say, who have learned from the former judgments by which the members of the community were judged, who have listened to the voice of the teacher of righteousness and have not despised the precepts of righteousness when they heard them. They shall rejoice and their hearts shall be strong, and they shall prevail over all the sons of the earth. God will forgive them, and they shall see his salvation, or his Yeshua, or his Yeshaya, because they took refuge in his holy name. All right. So now, but check this out. You got this within the Greco-Roman Gospels. Now I'm going to go to the Greco-Roman John, chapter 10, and I'm going to read to that verse 26. And it reads this: but ye believe not, because you are not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. All right. It's the same thing what you're getting within the scroll, the teacher of righteousness and the Most High, go hand in hand. Like you have to listen to the teacher of righteousness, to understand he's the true teacher. He's the one that's given the breakdown the prophets and the breakdown to give you the true understanding of the law. And not only that, he's gonna give you the true precept that you got to follow for the Most High, but the Most High put the teacher of righteousness there so you can heed to his voice, listen to his voice, and then confess your faults to the Most High, and then be able to, follow the Most High, but the teacher of righteousness is the one is the Messiah that's being sent to actually show us the right teaching, the right things. If you don't, that's Jesus, right? That's what we see in the Greco-Roman New Testament, right? All right, so now let's keep going. So you got to hear the teacher of righteousness voice, just like you got to hear Jesus' voice. All right. So now we're gonna go to some Beatitudes. Let's just check these Beatitudes out. Now let me. Like, gonna take a second. You're gonna have to catch up. But showing the correlation between the two is very exciting and is very, interesting how they try to hide the church. And then the teacher of righteousness, at this community, they're not doing sacrifices there. The Essenes did not believe in doing sacrifices. They're not doing sacrifices. And the teacher of righteousness came to show them that this is, you don't do sacrifices. And teacher of righteousness, I believe teacher of righteousness went to the temple just like Jesus did. The story that we get about Jesus going into the temple, that was the teacher of righteousness. That was Jesus. That actually I believe that was something historically that happened, and that actually got the Essenes, kicked out of they was excluded out of the common court of the temple. They couldn't go to a certain spot of the temple where they do sacrifices at. They became excluded. How did the Essenes become excluded according to history? Because they was excluded according to history to the common part of the temple. How were they excluded? Because when you read the Greco-Roman Gospels, you got the teacher of righteousness, Jesus, going inside there and abolishing sacrifices. He in there letting out the animal. He did something, wild within the temple that got the Essenes excluded from going into the temple. All right, so this same community teaches no sacrifices, just like the Essenes and the Ebionites. They teach no sacrifices. It's the same group, y'all. It's the same people, the same people, the same group. All right, so now let's now I want to go to these Beatitudes. These Beatitudes that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls. You got Beatitudes within the Dead Sea Scrolls. Then you got some Beatitudes within the Greco-Roman Gospel, letting you know this is the church. The teacher of righteousness is Jesus. Historically, it has to be. It has to be. All right, so now we're going to go into this. One second. Go down to this scroll, to this particular scroll. All right, this scroll is called the Beatitude scroll. All right, the Beatitude scroll. Now we're going to read some things within the Beatitude scroll. All right, but first, let me read it in there. Yeah, let me read it in here first. Let me see. So just read a couple things. Now, say, blessed is, it broke off. Blessed is with a pure heart. What we just kind of just read, these are things that you will see, a pure heart, a good heart. Blessed is with our pure heart and does not slander with his tongue. Blessed are those who hold to her wisdom precept. They let you know that wisdom is a feminine. The Holy Spirit is a feminine spirit. It's a she. And do not hold to the ways of iniquity. Blessed are those who rejoice in her. and do not burst forth in ways of folly. Blessed are those who seek her with pure hands, and do not pursue her with a treacherous heart. Blessed is the man who has attained wisdom and walks in the law of the Most High. He directs his heart towards her ways. And this, you see this same thing within the wisdom of Solomon, within the Apocrypha. All right, how wisdom is attributed to a feminine, spirit, she, and she is the Holy Spirit. She, the Holy Spirit is just she, has that feminine aspect, and wisdom is pretty much an attribute of the Holy Spirit. So, but to say he directs his heart towards her ways, so the Most High would direct man's heart toward her ways, and the only way that can happen if you following the laws, and restrain himself by her corrections, and always take delight in her chastisements. He does not forsake her when he sees distress, nor abandon her in the time of strain. He will not forget her on the day of her of fear, and he will not despise her when his soul is afflicted. So now you got this beatitude, and it starts off like, bless this, bless those, bless those, bless those. The same thing that you see within the Greco-Roman Gospels. Now let's go to the Greco-Roman Beatitudes. All right. Now it reads this. It say, let me make it. It say, bless, I'm gonna start at verse 2. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, blessed are the poor in the spirit. So the Greco-Roman Gospels got Jesus, quoting Beatitudes, and he's saying similar things that you see within the Beatitudes within the Dead Sea Scrolls. And they say, blessed are the poor in the spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed blessed they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed those who meek with the pure heart, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the poor in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So in these, you got these Beatitudes, which is in Luke and which is in Matthew, which is actually coming from a record that scholars call the Q Gospel, that the author of Matthew and the author of Luke used. All right. Now, I wonder what the Q Gospel comes. The Q Gospel is stemming from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Q Gospel was pretty much a translation of what one of the probably Matthew, one of the disciples of the Lord, one of the disciples of the Messiah put together. All right, put together in Hebrew, but then other people was translating it in their own language the best way they can, and that was known as the Q Gospel. All right, so that's what you get. You get that right there. It's possible that Matthew, could have been one of the scribes, scribing some of the New Testament Dead Sea Scrolls, New Testament writings that we see, also. So it's like, but what Matthew did, he put basically like a compilation together of, the teachers, the oracles of the teachers, like the sayings of what, the teacher of righteousness was saying. And that got translated into different languages, and eventually was called the Q Gospel. So, but this is what you have. So you got we seeing the correlation. So Jesus is quoting Beatitudes, and we see Beatitudes within the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right, very, very similar, very, very similar. All right. All right. So now, let's keep rocking. Let's keep going. All right, we're not gonna be long. We almost actually just got a couple more things to hit on, and we're gonna be done. So now let's keep going. So now I'm gonna go to the Zedekiah fragment, which is in the Dead Sea Scrolls, page 132, but I'm gonna stick with the Zedekiah fragment real quick. And I'm gonna go to chapter 7. All right, I'm gonna go to chapter 7. One second. Chapter 7. And I'm gonna read 1 through 4. All right. And it reads, the builders of the wall who walk after the law is which talks, of which he said, assuredly they shall talk are caught by two, by fornication and taking two wives during their lifetime. But the fundamental principle of the creation of male and female, he created he them. And they who walk into the ark, two and two walk into the ark. And as to the prince, it is written, he shall not multiply wives unto himself. But David read not in the book of law that was sealed, which was in the ark. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, so when that was sealed, so it was in the ark. But I don't want to go too far off. But now, so let's say, I'm gonna go back to verse 3. But the fundamental principle of the creation, male and female created he them. All right. And they went into the ark, two and two went into the ark. All right. So now I want to go to Matthew real quick. Let me go to Matthew. And I want to go to Matthew chapter 19. And I want to start at verse 1. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And a great multitude followed him, and he healed them, saying, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? He's quoting from the scrolls, y'all. Jesus is quoting from the scrolls. And he said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. All right. And then verse 7, it say, they said unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? And he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. He's quoting from the scrolls. And I say unto you, whosoever put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marry her with which is put away does commit adultery. All right, so now I'm gonna read it. I'm reading the scroll to show you he's quoting from the scroll. This is the understanding that the church have. All right, now it says this. Now it's saying, he said, surely they shall are caught by two, by fornication and taking two wives during their lifetime. So you shouldn't. So if you're married, because in the scrolls, let me just read it in the scrolls. I had to go back up, but let me see. I'll read it in the scroll. It reads better in the scrolls. But in the meanwhile, let me just read it right here. So, but he's saying though, so if you take a wife in your lifetime, you can't marry another wife until your first wife dies. So when your wife dies, if your wife dies before you, then you can marry another wife. Then that's when you can get you another wife. All right. But the fundamental principle of creation, male and female created he them. And they went into the ark, two and two went into the ark. And as the prince is written, he shall not multiply wives unto himself. But David read not in the book of the law that was sealed, which was in the ark. And it was not opened in Israel from the day of death of Eleazar and Joshua, and the elders who served Asherah. And it was hidden and was not discovered until Zadok arose. All right. So now, hold on, let me read it. And now they glorified the deeds of David, save only the blood of Uriah, and God abandoned them to him. So God forgave David for all other things he did, except for the Uriah. And he had to serve his judgment with that, and we read the story about that, how the Most High judged him on that. But now, to let you know that Jesus is quoting from, he have an understanding that we shouldn't do multiple wives. He's letting you know you can't divorce your wife and get another wife. Like, you can't do that. You can't divorce your wife and get another wife like that. You have to actually, according to the church, you have to, stick with her, and then if she dies before you, then you get you another wife, you know. And I went into information dealing with the Damascus document in the Judean New Testament Christian writing course, and how that the early church, the Ebionites, they did not believe in polygamy. All right, it's in their records. All right, and they believe that the forefathers never did that either. All right, so now they believe the pens of the scribes was in vain with those things. So, but the church believed that. Let me read it in the Damascus document in the Dead Sea Scrolls version. 1 second. There we go. Let me go to 132. All right. Now that was in the Zedekiah frame. It's the same thing. Just some things I worded a little different. I like how the older version read. So now this is the Damascus document in Dead Sea Scrolls. We're on page 132. And it reads like this, and it's saying, they shall sorely spout, shall be caught in fornication twice by taking a second wife while the first is alive. So it lets you understand you can't take a second wife while the first is alive. Whereas the principle of creation is male and female, created he them. Also, those who entered the ark went in 2 by 2. Okay, and concerning the prince, it is that thou shalt not multiply wives to himself. So now going back to Jesus, what Jesus said within the Greco-Roman, he let you know that you shouldn't, whoever put away his wife, except it be for fornication, you should not marry another. You committing adultery. All right, that's according to the church. Let you know the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. It is Jesus, yo. All right. So now, let's keep going. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. So now, I want to go to. Let me go to Matthew. Now I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna be in the Greco-Roman book of Matthew. I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna go to chapter 11. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Now this is recorded within the Q Gospel. This is recorded within Luke, and then within the author of Matthew, the Greco-Roman author of Matthew, and the Greco-Roman author of Luke. It's recorded within their record. They have this story. They have this, this basically this interaction right here with John disciples and Jesus disciple, which is turning they did the same group. Jesus actually, pretty much the teacher of righteousness pretty much, took over the community, because that's what he was going to do anyway, because he's the leader of the community, he's the prince of the community, he's the prince of the congregation. But some people, had questions, rightfully so. Some people had questions that was within the community, because John was there for, before Jesus. But when John got locked up, that's when Jesus fully took his, position. You know what I'm saying? They asked him this. They was like, this is Matthew chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. Now, when John heard in the prison of the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples and said unto him, art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? And Jesus answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he, another beatitude, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. All right. And they departed. Okay. And they departed from him. Now, what we have to understand is that what we see right here, this is something that they letting them know. Now, the community, John disciples, and John, when the Messiah, when Jesus quoted, the blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are rise up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. He's quoting from a specific record that they know about, and John know about, because it's a part of the community library. I'm going to read it. All right. And they also quoting from Isaiah, but it's specific scroll that he's quoting from that they know about, that the community knows about. All right. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read this scroll. 1 second. 1 second. Let me get it. I might have to go to the you gotta scroll it down. Let's see. It's on page 412. This is called a Messianic Apocalypse scroll. Okay, Messianic Apocalypse scroll. So let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can get it. But yeah, just showing the correlation. This stuff is should be, you know, exciting for people to go in, like, and want to learn about the early church, so we can, if we can follow what the early church was following, and understand it during our time, you know, then maybe we can try to get back to something legit, you know, out here, man. Wait till this load up. I have to let it load up. Okay, there we go. What page is this? What page is this? Let's see. Page is this. Okay, I'm gonna go to page 412. Page 412. All right, so now on page 412, this is the Messianic Apocalypse. The Messianic Apocalypse. And what we just read in Matthew chapter 11 is the same thing you're going to read in here. This is the Messianic Apocalypse scroll. All right, and it reads this: the heavens and the earth will listen to his Messiah, and none therein will stray from the commandments of the holy ones. Seekers of the Lord, strengthen yourselves in his service. Are you hopeful in your heart? Will you not find the Lord in this? For the Lord will consider the pious and call the righteous by name. Over the poor, his spirit will hover and will renew the faithful with his power. He will glorify the pious on the throne of their eternal kingdom. Who liberates the captives, restores sight to the blind, strengthens the bent. And forever I will cleave to the hopeful in his mercy, and the fruit will not be delayed for anyone. And the Lord will accomplish glorious things which have never been. All right, and this is where he started quoting what we just read in Matthew 11. He said, but he will heal the wounded, revive the dead, and bring good news to the poor. He will lead the uprooted and make the hungry rich. All right. Now I'm gonna keep reading. Let me scroll down a little more. Oh. So he say, I'm gonna read that again. He said he will heal the wounded, revive the dead, and bring good news to the poor. All right. And then he say, like who accursed and destined for the death, when the life giver will raise the dead of his people. He would thank and proclaim you to the righteous of the Lord, who, and it breaks off right there. It stops right there. But to let you know that, no, this Messiah, he's quoting, he quoted from a specific scroll. For he will heal the wounded, revive the dead, and bring good news to the poor. And they're quoting from Isaiah. And this is what Jesus said. Go tell John this: the blind receive the sight. This is Matthew 11, verse 5. The blind receive the sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. So it's things that letting you know, like, yeah, I'm that guy. That's me. I'm the guy. So you think the Dead Sea Scrolls community got a scroll, a messianic apocalypse scroll that's saying that the Messiah will be doing this, will be doing these things that's quoted in Isaiah chapter that's quoted in Isaiah chapter 61. The Messiah will be doing this. So they have a scroll saying the Messiah will be doing these things. All right, and that's what you see. All right, so now, well, hold on, let me show something else. Let me go to Luke real quick. Luke, Greco-Roman and Luke, and that at verse 16. And this is Luke chapter 4, verse 16. He came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering the sight to the blind, and to set liberty on them that are abused. This is to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. So in the Greco-Roman Gospels and in Luke, it got Jesus going to the synagogue and quoting something within Isaiah. He's quoting Isaiah chapter 61. So he's doing that twice. He's quoting this. So the Greco-Romans got Jesus quoting the Messianic Apocalypse scroll and quoting Isaiah chapter 61. All right, to let you know the teacher of righteousness and Jesus are the same one, are the same. All right, so now let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm gonna go back to the Zadokite fragments. All right, I'm gonna go back to the Zadokite fragment. But first, I'm gonna read this go to Matthew. Go to the Greco-Roman Matthew, chapter 12, verse 9. I'm sorry, verse 9. And it reads, and when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Then said he to the man, stretch forth thy hand, and he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. So the Pharisees want to ask him, oh, is it okay for us to lift out like they ask him, like, oh, is it okay for you to heal on the Sabbath day? But yet the Pharisees, they supposed to know the law, but yet they the ones who, if their sheep get caught in a hole, they'll pull their sheep out. They'll take their sheep out. Is a sheep more important than an animal? Is a sheep more important than a human? So this is what Jesus, but it's something within this law, because the Pharisees supposed to know the law. All right, they're supposed to know the law. But this law, you don't find this law contained nowhere else. But Jesus knew this law. He knew that if an animal is caught in a hole on the Sabbath day, you're supposed to leave him down there until the Sabbath is over, if he falls in a pit. All right. Now, but you don't see this law nowhere else, but this law is found within the scrolls, within the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right. So let me go to the Zadokite fragment. And let me go to chapter 13. And this is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is in the Damascus document, but I'm in the Zadokite fragment. And I'm going to go to chapter 13. And this is laws regarding the Sabbath. And I'm going to go to verse 22 and 23. And it reads, No man shall help an animal in its delivery on the Sabbath day. So according to the law, man is supposed to help an animal even deliver an animal. And if an animal is pregnant having a birth, they got to do it on their own. The animal has to do it on his own. And if it falls into a pit or a ditch, he shall not raise it on the Sabbath. So this is a law that the church knew about, all right? But they understand that the teacher of righteousness understood that, okay, it's good to do good on the Sabbath, and you don't put an animal over a human. But the Pharisees want to question the teacher of righteousness about the law when they the ones who are lifting out their animals in the pit on the Sabbath. So that's why Christ mentioned that, because he knew they was doing that. That's why the Messiah mentioned that. He knew they was doing that. So, but this law is found within the Dead Sea Scrolls to let you know the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. Jesus is the teacher of righteousness. All right. All right. Now, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, let me go to the scrolls. Go back to the scrolls. All right. And let me go. We almost done too. And go to the scrolls. Really just a couple more, like two, 3 more things. I'm gonna wrap this up. Wrap this up. Yep. 2 more things. We're gonna wrap this up. All right, so now this is it's way more comparisons, that I have, than just this class. It's a lot more comparisons, but let me read this right here. So now what page is this? 135. Now I'm gonna go. Let me go to I gotta go to page 147. All right, now page 147. Now this is the Damascus document. All right, this is other parts of the Damascus document, like what they call Damascus document manuscripts. Okay, but on page 147, this what this says. Where this at? I say, for the master to instruct the sons of light. So the teacher of righteousness, the master, he would be teaching the sons of light, to instruct the sons of light to keep away from the ways of the wickedness until the completion of the appointed time for the visitation of the spirits of injustice. God will destroy all her deeds, bringing instructions on the removers of boundaries, and he will inflict destruction on the assembly of wickedness. And now listen to me. I will let you know the awesome designs of God and his marvelous mighty deeds. I will recount to you all that is concealed from man all the days of his life. So the sons of light, you see the sons of light within here. And so the teacher of righteousness, he's the one, the master, he's the one that's going to teach the sons of light. He's going to teach the sons of light. So if he's going to teach the sons of light, let me just read this one. Because we see the sons of light, it's in Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5. But let me read this in John real quick. Let me read this. So this is John chapter 12, verse 36. And it reads, while ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. And these things spake Jesus and departed and did hide himself from them. So Jesus, he's the one, he's teaching the children of light, the sons of light. He's teaching the sons of light. And we see the same thing, which is in Thessalonians. Paul, he quotes, sons of light verbatim, 5 and 5. It say, ye are the children of light and the children of the day. You are not of the night nor of the darkness. So the children of light, the sons of light, the children of light, the sons of light, the master will be teaching the sons of light, the children of light. So who is this? Who is teaching this? The children of light, the sons of light. Who is doing that? Who is doing that? It's the Messiah. It's Jesus. It's Jesus, y'all. It's Jesus. Jesus and the teacher of righteousness are the same. And the Lord commanded the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. Why is this saying this? Why is this saying this? This author is trying to use the Messiah to throw a shot at the children of light. When it's the same, the group will be the same group, because you see Paul speaking about the children of light. You be the children of light, and you got the Gospel of John saying, learn from got Jesus quoting, be the light so you can be the children of light. But then you got Luke, it say this children of the world is wiser than the children of light. See, this is a play on words, but the master will be teaching the children of light. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Jesus is the master in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Jesus is the teacher that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right. This last one now I'm gonna show you. This is the last one. Let me go to the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm gonna go to page 282. All right. And then, but let me get this out of the Greco-Roman Gospels real quick, so then I'm gonna read this. This is Matthew, verse 21. Matthew chapter 21, verse 16. And it reads this. And said unto him, hearest thou what these say? And Jesus said unto them, yeah, have you not read, out of the mouth of babes and suckling thou hast perfected praise? All right, so Jesus is quoting something that's within the book of Psalms about the mouth of babes, out of the mouth of babes, right? Now you have this same quotation within the Dead Sea Scrolls, within the teacher of righteousness hymns, within his hymns. All right, he's quoting this just like Jesus is quoting it. All right, so now let me go to it. Hymns and poems. Let me go to this. And this is the last thing. And we wrapping it up. We done. Done with the teacher of righteousness. All right. Jesus is the teacher. All right, so now, right here on page 285, we got, let's see, right here. And it reads, but thou, oh my God, has put into my mouth. Hold on, where is this? Hold on. Oh, 282. 282. Now this is the teacher of righteousness hymns, the hymns of the teacher of righteousness. 282. And it reads right here, it reads this. Thou hast made me a foster to the sons of grace, and as a foster father to men of marvel. They have opened their mouths like little babes. Have you not read that out of the mouth of babes will come perfected praise? They have opened their mouths like little babes. All right, this is the teacher of righteousness speaking. He said he's the father to the sons of grace, right? And he's teaching these, and they open their mouths like little babes. All right. So now Jesus is the teacher of righteousness. All right. It's the end of the lesson. And I hope this was a blessing, dealing with the teacher of righteousness, dealing with understanding the teacher of righteousness is Jesus. Jesus is the teacher of righteousness that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls. I advise people to really, study the Dead Sea Scrolls, especially if you're a Hebrew Israelite and you believe in the Messiah, or if you believe that, Yeshua or Yeshua is the Messiah, and if you want to follow the early church, you need to understand about the Ebionites, need to understand about the Nazarenes, all right? It's kind of crazy for us to call ourselves Hebrew Israelites and to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, but we're not following what the early church actually was following. All right, so now, Hope this was a blessing, and shalom, and have a blessed Sabbath. Shalom.